quite clearly on getting President Trump, suing President Trump, is going after him again. Letitia James joining other AGs now accusing the administration of using the SNAP food assistance program to target immigrants. Correspondent Alexis McAdams reports live on the backstory here in New York. Hi, Alexis.
Hi, Martha. So the White House says SNAP, or food stamp programs, are really just full of waste, fraud, and abuse, and they say they want to fix it. But today, Attorney General Letitia James says that's not going to happen. This is just another cruel tactic, she says, by the White House to try and track down migrants who are in the country illegally.
This is really all about immigration enforcement. This is all about advancing the agenda of the President of these United States, and that is he has this animus against immigrants and undocumented individuals. It's clear.
It's not her first lawsuit either. Today, Attorney General James and attorneys generals of 20 other states joining in, including California and Michigan, to sue the Trump administration after the U.S. Department of Agriculture demanded a detailed list of every person who gets food assistance or SNAP from the federal program. So the USDA doesn't just want their names, but they want these people's immigration status too. So that's kind of what people are complaining about here on the Attorney General's side. They say that the AGs are prohibited from law by disclosing this information that would give the government access to millions of people's data. We're talking more than 40 million people that get SNAP benefits each and every month, according to government data. So according to the USDA, they say this: people who are in the country legally are not supposed to get SNAP benefits anyway, but refugees and people who have asylum can still apply. So the Trump administration says the program is being abused. They say there's people on it that shouldn't even be getting these SNAP benefits, and they want to make sure the people who get it qualify. Each year, the federal government gives states like California and New York, listen to this, billions of dollars for their SNAP program. So this isn't a small amount of money here. The AG of California said today, Martha, that any delay in the funding would be catastrophic, he says, for the people who need this in his state to put food on the table for their families. And the USDA says, sure, but we want this information by the end of the month. So it's up to you guys if you could lose your federal funding or not, Martha.
Okay, we got a no comment from the USDA responding to this today. Alexis, thank you very much. Paul Moreau is here joining me, retired NYPD inspector, attorney, Fox News contributor. Paul, great to have you with us today. It seems like this is an extension of, there's sort of two avenues here. You've got the White House trying to extend their reach of DOGE, essentially, of figuring out where the waste, fraud, and abuse is in a number of different agencies and benefits. And then you've got Letitia James, who now has put this up on the screen, if you can, at least 26 lawsuits heading after President Trump. And remember, she said she was always committed to this. Here's a look back at her talking about that. Let's watch.
No one is above the law, including this illegitimate president. And so, I look forward to going into the office of Attorney General every day, suing him, defending your rights, and then going home.
I say one name, Donald Trump. That should motivate you.
Gonna get him. So this is the very latest. Your thoughts on this, Paul?
Well, first of all, I mean, look, there's a couple ways to look at this. Let's do legal and then let's do practical. First of all, legally, all right? She is an officer of the court. She's a lawyer. She's come into office specifically saying, I am going to use my office to target a particular person. That's not how our law works. And the idea here that she seems to be leveraging is the idea, well, you show me the person, I'll show you the crime. She started with the perpetrator and then looked for the crime. Now, I have to tell you something. If you do that at the prosecutorial level so blatantly in another context, as in a place where they are not going to be so fully supportive of you going after Donald Trump, you will get crucified. There's a very good chance you're going to lose your law license. And I'm very surprised that one of the tactics that the Trump administration has not taken is to file formal complaints against her with the New York State Bar. Because from where I sit, she's very close to an ethics violation by saying, hey, I'm going to be the AG, and my principal role is going to be to go after one guy.
So let's talk about the other side of this, which is the White House and the administration's desire to cut waste and fraud. So they look at the SNAP program, and when you look at the three states that are bringing these lawsuits, including Michigan and New York, they have a higher level of SNAP usage than other states in the country, and they also have a larger number of migrants, a lot of sanctuary cities in all of these jurisdictions. So what about going after the use of SNAP
Of course. Listen, they're going to lose this lawsuit, all right? It's established federal law that the federal government has the right to withhold funding from states if those states are not complying with federal regulations. And it's been established for a long time, going back now almost 50 years. And they know it. This is performative. She's up for re-election next year. And think about the absurdity of this on its face. Essentially, what the federal government is saying is, we just want to know who we're giving the money to.
Right.
That's it. What are we supposed to just blindly throw checks out the window? Might as well open the door and just cut the checks at the Federal Reserve. Throw the checks out the window, because essentially that's what this. They're saying you're not allowed to ask where this money is going. And I was saying I wanted to do legal, then I wanted to do practical. I got to tell you something. Is working here in New York City. In New York City, the number is much higher in terms of how many people get SNAP. It's like 1 in 5. All right. I used to make these arrests. You have to search the
That's
prison.
20% of the population.
Yeah, it's.
But 20% of the population, I don't believe, is under the poverty level where you're supposed to be able to collect SNAP, and they're not here on asylum or as refugees.
I'm going to give you the exact number. You have 1.8 million, and there's probably, 8.5 million people, however you count it, in New York City. So you would arrest people, they'd have 5, 6, 7, 8 benefits cards, all in different names. And the way it works on the ground level is you take what you need, but generally what they do is that you're allowed to buy certain staples, bread, milk, things like that. They buy that stuff ostensibly, but what they really do is get $100 in benefits from the bodega owner. The bodega owner takes 50%, they keep $50, and they go buy drugs.
Yeah.
All right. Now that's not everybody, of course.
No.
People saying, "Oh, everybody who's using SNAP benefits is a drug addict." I'm not saying that, but I can tell you that the level of scammery is mind-numbing. You can't believe it, and you would have those moments where you say, "Why am I coming to work? Why am I should just get a bunch of benefit cards?"
But if you clear out those who are using it for nefarious purposes, and you allow people who legitimately have the right to receive it, you're going to save a lot of money across the country.
The way
That's the
it's
goal.
supposed to work. Of course
Exactly.
it's supposed to work that way, and we'd be able to help the people who really need it. We're getting ripped off. Why is that such a bad thing for Donald Trump to look into?
I mean, all of these jurisdictions should be looking at their books and making sure that they're not wasting money
Bottom line.
if they don't want to do it. Paul, thank you.